This is Donna with More Than a Review, and I'm excited to be here with Hallee Bridgeman, and she is going to tell us a little bit about herself and then about her book that we have here with us, Courting Calla. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm from Fort Knox, Kentucky, and I write Christian romance and romantic suspense, and I have also a World War II suspense series. And Courting Calla was my 26th book.
Wow, congratulations. Oh my goodness, that's amazing, because we're here with a lot of writers that are trying to get their first ones. So,
right.
Well, that's great, because I'd love to ask you some questions that I think will help also writers, and then readers are always fascinated to know like the behind the scenes. So,
okay.
So does writing energize you or exhaust you?
The writing, the beginning writing, which the way that I write, I do it in layers. And so my first through pass is just action and dialogue. And it's almost like I can see this movie in my head, and all I'm doing is writing what I see and hear. And so there's no scene setting, and there's very little emotion, and there's very little inner thoughts. And so that is exciting for me. And then when I go back in and I have to add all of the things that make it a good read, that's what exhausts me.
Yeah. All the technical parts of it.
Right, and adding, thoughts and feelings. And I have signs all over my office or like, don't be lazy, smell, sight, color, that kind of thing. Yeah. Because I've done it. I've told the story, action, dialogue, that's all you need, right? The rest is the work.
Good. Yeah, exactly. So what would you tell your younger writing self?
I would say to be willing to edit. That it's okay to get everything out, but then you have to go back in and it's okay to edit too. Yeah. And sometimes what comes out of it is better than what was there before.
Yeah.
And I was always really resistant to the idea of changing anything. And now when I see something that's wrong, I had an ending of a book that my editor said, "This is wrong. You cannot end the book this way." And I said, "But you're not my audience." And I sent it out to my street team, and resounding answer came back was, the ending was really bad. And so then I knew, okay, well that was my audience, and they said the same thing as my editor, and so that was easy to go back in, and now I knew to fix that. And that's the kind of thing now I'm way more sensitive to, the idea of I can fix it, I can change it, and that's okay.
Does it get harder even like after 20 books to still edit?
To still edit? No, it actually, what I have is so much more editable. It's cleaner. I have a cleaner final version, so that when it's time to edit, it's just easier. When I look back at some of my older books, it's even now after editing, like they're edited and they're published and they're done, and I want to go back in and, can I fix this? The writing was so immature. Can I change that now?
I've heard that. I've heard that. So what's the best money you've spent as a writer? Because there's so many things you could spend your money on.
Yeah. Beyond like the basic tools that I use to write, like programs and subscriptions and stuff like that, like in a big bulk of money, I would say writing conferences. Definitely writing conferences. I've been all over the world teaching and speaking at conferences, and I would say that there's nothing that energizes me more as a writer than to immerse myself in a world of writers for a short time, and I come out of there like ready to hit it again.
Okay, so let's ask, I always like a couple fun questions. So what would you do if you didn't write?
So I was a homemaker before I was a writer. And that's really where my heart is homemaking. So I have 10 and 12-year-old children, and I am a real food cook. I grind my own wheat. Wow. I make everything from scratch. And I would be able to like entirely focus my energies in homemaking, that I kind of split those energies. Like even today, I would spend 3 hours a day in the kitchen. That's a normal day for me. But if I was... I had a blog, Hallee the Homemaker, that I had to stop doing when I started writing full time, and I would probably still be blogging as Hallee the Homemaker, and I would probably still be like focusing on homemaking.
Wow. Well, so my last question is usually, what would readers be surprised to know about you? So other than Hallee the Homemaker, what do you think readers would be surprised to know?
Let's see. I'm an Army brat,
Oh,
and I was very nearly born in a helicopter
oh my goodness.
in Germany, above Nuremberg, Germany. My mom was really upset because it was her first helicopter ride, and the medic wouldn't let her look out the window because he was holding my head to keep me from getting born in his
Gosh.
helicopter. He's like, "Don't push, Mrs. Poe, don't push." So,
Wow,
You know.
that is awesome. So anything that you would want to tell like readers that are listening about your books and kind of what would set your books apart and what readers typically love your books?
one thing that readers love about my books is my characters, and readers tend to forget what they're reading are fictional characters. I have a friend who called me one day and she said, "The other day I was thinking about how Tony and Robin are, and then I remembered that they were characters in Sapphire Eyes." And it's one of the things I actually teach is, characterization, because what I get over and over and over and over again in reviews is how real the characters were and how drawn people get into their stories, and that they just forget that they're a fictional character. And in the end, it's a romance. They're going to be in love and together and loving God together. But there's that whole adventure that you go on to get there, and the reader gets wrapped up in that. And it's exciting. And every time I sit down to do it, I think, I can't do this again. I'm not going to do it right this time. And every time it's the same feedback I get from people is the characters are so real.
Wow.
And so I'm not afraid to tackle real life
Yeah,
in my fiction.
that's awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate it. All right, thank you.